главный тренер, который помоложе, второй бывший в клубе в Теннисе. Они специально презентацию делают по поворотам и стартам.
Starts and turns are things you do at the end of the pool to get to the middle of the pool and start swimming. We're going to imagine, reimagine what we're doing on the walls as maybe even the focus.
Представим, что мы делаем на стене на старте, представим еще раз, как это может
Used to
быть.
be a surface event. Now it's gone underwater and it's turned into a tournament. And it's
происходит под водой.
We hope to give you an in-depth look.
Поэтому мы должны поглубже разобрать этот момент, когда вы делаете такие движения под водой со стартом поворотом.
Swimming is and where it's going.
And when he says in depth, we're going to take you in depth. We're going to take you into the classroom. We're going to take you into the pool. We're going to break down the pieces of starts and turns into different segments, different skills.
Старты, повороты, как мы разбирали город становиться, они
We're very fortunate to have Bill Boomer with us on this presentation. And I'm very fortunate to have Bill Boomer with me on staff at the University of Tennessee, working with our swimmers and working with our staff. Bill is a revolutionary figure in the sport of competitive swimming. His influence Throughout this video, we're going to be coming into the classroom. And we're going to come into the classroom to try to explain
всего видео мы будем все время возвращаться в класс и рассматривать
some of the concepts that govern our thinking about starts, turns, and swimming as a whole. A lot of these concepts, and especially the vocabulary that we use to describe these concepts, has come from Bill Boomer. You're going to hear probably either unfamiliar words or familiar words spoken in a context that may be a little bit different from what you're used to. And we like to refer to this as Boomer's vocabulary. At Tennessee, he's given us a list of probably 100 different words. He's asked us to look at and consider when we describe something, when we think about something. Some of these words are already in our vocabulary as swimmers and as coaches. The concepts of line and the everyday use of line to talk about swimming and what we see in a swimmer moving down the pool, that comes from this man and his brain. The concepts of long axis and short axis, balancing on those axes. Those come largely from he's been responsible for using a lot of different words, terms, and concepts into our swimming vocabulary. But in the meantime, he's also been advancing his own ideas in swimming terminology, concepts, descriptions, and it's my goal to try to keep up and to try to understand him. And throughout the video, in places that I think that he may be describing something that's unfamiliar, I'll try to step in and describe it in a different way. But we also want to challenge you to use the words carefully, know that he's chosen this carefully, and think about the meaning of this word that he's using in swimming. You want to talk about this a little bit?
Yeah. I came into swimming from land-based sports in the early 1960s. So I've been doing swimming with a passion for over 50 years. And I came in from innocence from land-based swimming, or land-based activity. I made it a point for the first 5 to 7 years to go to every clinic I could go to, talk to every coach that would just take a deep breath and listen to me. I did everything that I could for 5 or 7 years to find out how to do this. And
Специально
the
5-7
thing
лет
in hindsight
занимался
is
вопросом, как это сделать, пытался разговаривать с тренерами,
the language
чтобы они
that was
успели
as a
разработать какой-то
descriptive
язык.
language of what the philosophy of swimming was back then. And I try to use that language. And as I went along and began to see,
Пытается использовать тот язык, который он придумал слова специально.
never having swum, never having coached, never having seen a swimming meet, I could come at swimming from a very innocent perspective.
Люди, которые первый раз не видели, как я плаваю, как я
I always
тренируюсь,
tried to
как
figure
я
out
объясняю,
how to do that from the perspective
я пытаюсь это сделать по-своему,
that is
с
to
перспективой на
just
то, как оно
take
лучше потом работает.
without any prearranged concepts. And as I started to do that, my language started to drift away from the language that I would hear all the time, the language that I still hear today. And the drift
Его
had
язык
to do
отличается от
with how I
других тренеров,
saw the
выражает,
environment
как
that
он
is the
видит
aquatic
окружающую
environment
среду,
as opposed to the terrestrial environment, land-based. And what leverage choices human beings use to manage those environments. Because the
как
first thing
человек будет
we
использовать свои
do
конечности
in
различные,
any
чтобы
situation,
управлять
from the
ситуацией в
bassinet
водной среде, в этой
to death, is to manage an environment for stability. If we're not stable, we're not
понимать, как управлять
So the first thing we do is to manage
стабильностью в этой водной среде.
for stability. And then we begin to manage for movement or putting energy into that stable condition, whether it's to get food or to accomplish some other task.
Потом мы
Then
пытаемся
you begin
управлять
to
силой,
manage
которую мы спускаем, энергией, которая идет.
Or move in that situation to create energy for a task. You have to choose a leverage system to do that. We have only 3 leverage systems
Есть 3 системы.
for choice. One is a balancing lever, one is a forceful lever,
Balance,
and one
сила и
is a
скорость.
speed lever. So you made 3 choices. And for swimmers and managing environmental situations, you really only have 2. You do use the speed lever a little bit. And that means that the movement, the yellow is the speed lever. So it's a quick movement, but not very forceful.
Простая концепция, если мы
I began to
скорость,
realize
то
that
как
the
быстро,
language
допустим,
of
мы можем
swimming that I
локоть.
that I had been introduced to was the language of secondary, the language of force. Then I began to think about swimming and an environmental management system in the water as a language of balance. First
Когда я
class.
думаю про то, как развить скорость или силу, допустим, я предлагаю наш водную среду и думаю, как при этом держать баланс.
Opposed to kick, pull. Yeah, I began to look at
Соответственно, от этого исходит,
the
как нужно
management
правильно
of
работать
aquatic
ногами, как
situations
делать
from
руки
the inside
руками.
out. And the language that I heard was managing those from the outside in. So, in order to do that, you were taking the pieces of the body that you were supposed to be using for movement, and you were using them for stability. So then it
Одновременно
makes a
нужно
lot of
думать о том,
sense to
что
me
ваши
that
конечности
you
только
took a hand,
используются для
you
того,
took
чтобы
a foot,
двигаться
you took
вперед,
a
но
lower arm,
так же самое в это же
and
время
that
вы
was supposed to
должны
be
держать
dynamic in
баланс и
nature.
стабилизировать
And I
себя.
looked at swimming, and I looked at the language, and all of a sudden, all of that is being used for stability. Of course, the stability is the first thing we have to do, but we have to do it in the middle of the body so that the ends of the body can be used for dynamic purposes.
Мы должны так думать,
So
что
I began to diverge
попытаемся
from
использовать стабильность за счет
from the language
корпуса, а руки
actually, and it helped me
использовать для
to
продвижения.
see where I was going, see where I was in terms of looking at things from a first-class leverage point of view. And in that process, about 10 years ago, I wrote down a list of words that are very
В
descriptive
всем этом
of
процессе он для
first-class
себя
leverage
разработал свой язык,
language for me. And that list was over
который
100 words.
работает для него.
And so the human being basically will use a language and then go in the direction of that language. It's going to be very difficult for you to change your language. But I'm asking you to consider that the language is keeping us where we were. The language is holding us
Вам,
back.
возможно, будет трудно как
We
бы
use the
принять
language,
сразу мой
say a
язык,
50-year-old coach is talking to a 12-year-old swimmer.
но он позволяет мне объяснить более правильно то, что я вижу.
40 years ago. And he's imparting that language, and she's imparting that language to another 10-year-old. And that's the way the 10-year-old starts to think. So I'm asking you to consider beginning to change how you talk, how we talk, what words we use. And those words should be
Например, если
inferring us in
там
another direction.
десятилетних вы детей учили, то вы должны рассмотреть возможность изменить, что вы говорите, что изменить свой язык так, чтобы было понятно на том уровне развития, который называется.
All right, it depends upon moment arms, that is, it depends upon where your weighted bars are, and you manipulate the environment there, or strokes therein. You redesign them so that they're not forceful so much as they're rebalancing. The energy then can be used for movement forward instead of and stabilizing in that place. So that has been
Почему вы должны стабилизировать себя, исправить все ошибки, чтобы зажать меньше энергии и, соответственно, двигаться быстрее, брать сопротивление.
holding us back from making the changes that we need to change. And that has to do with language.
Разметка бассейна для изучения этого способа, то, как они используют для поворота.
I want to emphasize just how much of a raise, or how much of a of even a practice is occupied by the turn. I think that there's a tendency sometimes to think of
Сколько
the turn
времени
as
поворот
something that happens
занимает
at the
в
end of
гонке или на
length,
тренировках,
and then
сколько
you carry
времени
a
он
little bit
занимает.
into the next length, but it's really just a way to get from one bit of surface swimming to another bit of surface swimming. So we're going to take a look at this
Вас
map.
он понимает, сколько времени занимает, чтобы уйти с поверхности и вернуться опять
I'm
на
going to give you a
поверхность.
graphic representation of the space that turns take up, the space that walls
Пытается
take
на
up.
графике определить,
We're looking
сколько
for,
места занимает сам поворот.
and the very first part of the turn is the approach to the wall. So we're going to say that the
Первая
turn
часть поворота – это приближение к стене.
Okay, now this swimmer is fairly proficient underwater.
Это
They're going to
стрелочка
take it out to about halfway.
отображает
So right now we've
выход,
got
сам поворот и выход.
about 2.5 meters in to about 12.5 meters out, and that's occupied by the turn. They meet the next wall, and they're going to do about the same thing. Okay, the approach, and then taking it out to about 12.5
Приближение
meters.
занимает
That's one swimmer.
3-5 метров,
In this race,
15 метров
that's
выход.
how much of the race is
И
occupied by
это
the turn.
сколько ваш поворот занимает
And
времени
if we're
во
concerned,
время
say that this
заплыва
is 3
соревнований.
meters, this is 12.5, we're going to 15 meters, and that is twice.
3 метра плюс 12,5 метров получается
30
почти
yards
что
out of 50
15
is taken
метров,
up with the turn. That's 1.5.
15,5 метров.
Okay? Now that's a swimmer that's really using the turn and the underwater part to their advantage. I'm going to kind of unfold a variety of methods for using the turn. Okay? And so now we have a complete
Каждый
map
спортсмен
of
может
what might
для
be
себя
a
делать
race.
этот поворот.
And actually, this is a race where
Сколько это может
people really
занимать
aren't
времени.
taking advantage of turns that much. But even in this case, we've got a couple lanes where people are coming up to the flags, a couple lanes where people are coming up just past the flags, and even a couple where they're coming up before the flags. Even here,
Здесь
you got
мы
5
можем видеть,
yards,
что
5
некоторые
yards here, 5
спортсмены
yards here, a
могут
little bit.
пару
That's 10
грибков
out of
делать
50,
после
still
флажковых,
25%.
выходить, другие даже до грибков, до флажков. до
Swimming is
разметки
moving in a
флажков.
direction that looks a lot
Все
more like
делают
this.
по-разному, но на этой
Yeah.
схеме легко видно, где мы можем поправить себя и улучшить наш поворот.
This is a map of swimmers who are all taking advantage of the fastest part of a race, and that is the underwater part. They are
Насколько сильно
maximizing
могут использовать подводную часть пловцы, самую быструю часть
And you
лодки.
can see that there is very little surface swimming left.
И если вы увидите, то остается очень мало места, если 25-метровый бассейн для формирования по поверхности, а не под водой.
That's about 35 yards, 70% of the race.
Приблизительно 70% занимает время нахождения под водой, чем
What we're going to do today
находитесь
is
сверху.
show you how we as coaches can reflect the value in this map in the way that
Таким
we
образом,
approach
тренер
swimming,
может отобразить
the way that we
ценность
approach practice.
такой тренировки под водой, но показывает это на карте. 7 основных частей, которые используются в повороте. Если компьютера взяли доску, нарисовали схему приблизительно, показали, как может выглядеть здесь на самом деле.
I love it not only because of the color, but because it gives you a sense of the entire space that we operate in, from the bottom of the pool to the top of the ceiling.
Мне нравится этот вид, потому что здесь видно целое пространство, которое мы используем в бассейне.
We're going to use this place to talk about and demonstrate.
Мы используем это место для того, чтобы говорить и демонстрировать.
I approached our season with one major goal, and that was going to be that as a team we were going to master turns. Okay, so I asked myself, what is it?
Одна из наших основных целей это
It's actually a series of
достичь
exercises.
совершенства поворота для команды, для всей команды.
In a really kind of a complicated way, and it ends up giving us a result that is obviously very important. So I decided to break the turn down into 6 different parts.
Поэтому для того, чтобы легче объяснить, он решил разбить поворот на 6 разных частей.
In different ways all through the season. At the end of that season, I feel like we've made a tremendous amount of progress. At NC2A, I walked into the stand and had a conversation with Coach Bill Boomer, and we talked about turns. And he said, you know, I think the turn has 7 different parts. And I thought, wow.
Я обсуждал это с тренером, который по-старшему говорит, я говорю, что у нас 7 частей поворота.
Still missing a piece. So after a lot of conversations, we talked, and we've actually honed in even more. And in fact, the level at which we focused on turns 3 years ago looks minuscule compared to what we've done in the past 2 years with Boomer's help. But we've identified 7 different pieces of a turn. And I'm going to show you where each of these is located.
Повороте разных.
Okay, as a swimmer is swimming into the wall, the first piece of the turn
Первая часть – это приближение к
that
стене.
involves the last 1 to 2 strokes into the wall.
Увлекает последний 1
That
класс
leads into the
слегка.
rotation. And that's what a lot of people think of when they turn, is how you rotate. A huge part of it is either a forward rotation for the long axis strokes or a backward rotation for the short axis strokes. The next piece is the landing. So we rotate into a landing. That takes place on the wall. Okay, we'll, again, show a lot of different exercises that we use to practice each of these elements. The landing is all there to set up the jump. Okay, the jump takes place off of the wall. And I put the jump a little bit below the landing in order to take advantage of the next phase. Okay, which is flight. Okay, and the flight allows you to take speed from the jump. It has to do with body positioning, it has to do with angle of attack. And then the portion that takes the most space is subsurface travel. So the flight takes place before you actually put any energy into the water to create propulsion.
Приближение к поверхности, которое отличается, если фаза полета параллельно земле, то это фаза она длиннее и
or what we
приближает
call
нас к
harmonic
поверхности.
travel in the other three strokes. And we'll explain that in a little bit. So the subsurface travel is taking you below the surface to the next phase, and the final phase, which is absolutely critical, and that is the exit. The exit
Последняя стадия это
transition
выход.
from subsurface travel to surface swimming.
Стадия включает переход
I'll show
из
you them
подводного
all
плавания в выход.
together.
Теперь схема всех, как вы выполняете поворот,
Today
в
we'll
какой
show
глубине
you
это происходит.
exercises that we use to practice each of these 7
И
different
мы используем упражнения,
and
чтобы
not only
практиковать каждую
exercises
из
that
этих
focus on
частей
each
в
of
повороте
them,
отдельно.
but exercises that help us tie these things together. So take a look at this, and we're talking about a turn. And we've divided it into 7 different components, each of which has a number of different skills associated with it in order to be able to master that particular part of the turn.
Для этого нам, чтобы работать в каждой части, мы
And
вырабатываем разные
it's
навыки.
actually a series of complicated movements pieced
На
together
самом
at a
деле
very
это
high
сложное
speed.
движение, которое
We do
спортсмены
not
применяют
give
в
it
повороте.
the value that it deserves as a swimming culture. So the question is, why haven't we given it the value that it deserves? This is not only a complicated series of movements, but it's one that could actually take a lifetime to master, and you may never master it.
И
So
говорит,
it's
это
that
может у вас
complicated,
занять
why
всю
haven't we
жизнь
given
для
it
того,
the
чтобы
value? Well,
отработать
I
это
think
хорошо
part of the
и
reason is
уже не
because it's been a
успеть
mistake.
выполнить
If
это
this
все
were
правильно.
dangerous, so if we were doing this turn on land at high speed, and we would put a lot more
Поворот на
attention
высокой скорости, но в
into
принципе
mastering
достаточно
different pieces of
безопасно.
it,
Да.
because imagine running across the bottom of the pool and then doing a turn at the wall in order to race back to the other side. If this was done without water, then you would see some incredibly gymnastic movements. You'd see some incredibly complicated and dangerous movements. You would probably see people trying to run up a wall, flip back, and run back again. And if that were
Если бы в бассейне
the
не было
actual race
воды,
in swimming, we
вам
take
бы
the water
пришлось
out, and we're
делать более
racing,
сложное
running,
движение,
this wall and the
разгоняться,
far wall, 25 yards
более
an hour.
опасное,
We would
разгоняться
spend
со скоростью,
most of our
срывать
time
стену,
working
разворачиваться,
on the
вестись
turn
назад.
portion. Because you can imagine two people racing between the walls, going as fast as they can, running. They might spend a little bit of time working on the running. They would spend a lot of time on the complicated and gymnastic movement on the wall. It's also a little bit dangerous
Сам
to
разворот,
think about
процесс
that.
разворота тоже, что это быстрее
Water
происходит.
softens everything. Water keeps this from being dangerous. And so the turn is actually just something that we have decided to
Смягчает это все и делает
do
это намного безопаснее.
fairly well, but for a lot of people and a lot of swimming culture, the turn's been something to do in between surface swimming, and surface swimming has been the main thing.
When you think about the time that turns take up today, and the number of segments, 7, and the complexity of each segment, very, very complex. Tumbling, alignment, all those segments are at different
Если
skills.
будете думать в такой
And you
концепции
take all that
7
complexity
частей,
and you
это очень
apply
сложные
it to
переходы,
just
сложно сами по
time
себе,
available
каждая
to
часть
do all
сложная.
that. What this is really about is a nervous system education.
Это
Right? You have to be able to paste
обучение
together
вашей нервной
a
системы,
lot of separate movement patterns.
как это сделать,
And
это
more than
используется
that,
через
It's the
большое
pasting of
количество
them together.
отдельных
So the first
движений,
thing we're asking kids to do, or swimmers to
чтобы
do,
выработать
is to
нейромышечную
learn the
память.
different skills. That's why we work in the approach alone and get those skill
Почему
levels
мы
to a
обучаемся
point
все время по
where
частям, а
you
потом
can paste
соединяем
that
это все.
to this, right? So then we work on the rotation. So you work in all of these 7 areas. You get the skill level high enough so that when you paste it to the next one, the skill level still has integrity, and then you can paste those
И
to the
по
next one.
очереди
But the first thing you need to do
самого хорошего
is
уровня
get each of
отрабатывать
those
один
skills
стиль,
within the
только потом
segments
одну часть, только
at a
потом
really
переходить к
high
другой
level
части и
of
так
skill.
далее. Чтобы
The next
в
whole
итоге весь поворот был идеальный.
approach is how you put them together.
of
задача,
those
как
skills
соединить их вместе.
now has to be married with the skill that's next to it. And that is the dance of the turn. The quality of movement,
Говоришь, что это
the
как
joinery
танец
in
в
there, the
повороте.
flow in there,
Все должно
the
быть
going from one to the other without any
другого.
interruption in the velocity that you're traveling in. That's the art of
Учитывая ту
turning.
скорость, которую вы плывете.
Right? And there is a specific art of turning. You can see it in the water. So my suggestion is that you take each of these pieces, begin to understand what it means, how to do it, how to practice it,
Мое
get
предположение,
them
что
all working.
вы взяли отдельно каждый участок, поняли, для чего
Do
это
not
делается,
marry one
задача,
segment to
и
the
потом
next
соедините.
until you have absolute certainty that it will not degrade the next one. That putting them together will not hurt either the approach or the rotation. So the approach and the rotation have to be at a certain level. When you marry them, they do not fall apart. So what we're trying to do is influence not only activity but the nervous system. All of this happens in very short time periods.
Все эти 7 фаз происходят
And
очень
it's
быстрый период.
basically called serial application.
Вам нужно приложить
A lot of activity.
комплексные усилия для того, чтобы это сделать.
All right, a lot of activity happening in a very short period of
Много
time.
всяких действий, движений одновременно. Теперь они пытаются в классе разобрать. Поворот.
We're going to talk a little bit about the different segments or set pieces in a wall, in a turn, that goes for both short axis and long axis events.
Подумаем о частях тела, о наших осях, длинные, короткие оси, как мы что используем.
And the first segment is the approach.
Первый сегмент поворота – это приближение к повороту.
What you see today in a lot of approaches on a head lead is the fact that the body is not lined up.
Что вы часто видите, что при приближении, что тело не ровно.
So a poor approach would have the weight and the bony structure of the head, the weight and the bony structure of the chest,
При
and the
приближении
pelvis
мы
right
одну
here.
часть тела,
Be
которая
running in different
перевешивает в эту
directions. That's a
сторону,
broken line.
туловище перевешивает в эту сторону.
And that's what it would look like if you took the blocks of weight. And that you see that all the time
Мы
in terms
смотрим на
of
тело
the
как
freestyle and back.
баланс различных
Just
весов.
before they are transferring into the rotation, these lines
Как
are
нам нужно
broken.
думать для того, чтобы
What we're
перевести
looking
веса для
for is these
благоприятного
lines to
вращения.
be equality aligned, so a weighted segment here and there can be aligned up to receive any pressures vertically from the water's flotation and all pressures of gravity.
Вам нужно
And this then is
одну
in
линию
the floating layer,
постараться быть в одну линию,
where
чтобы
gravity
уравновесить
and buoyancy are
силу,
equal.
подъемную силу, силу гравитации.
Vertical weight up or vertical weight down. That line is just floating there. And that's how you go into the rotation. So that's how you get to the rotation from your approach. So this is
Так вы должны
this
в
is
такой
the
линии
direction
зайти
that
в
you want to head
вращение.
in the approach.
So, and that's not just important for heading into the turn or for creating a rotation, but it's, this is how we want to swim. So if we have broken lines and
Не
broken
только
segments,
влияет на
not
сам
only
поворот,
is that
но положение,
disruptive
это мы стараемся плыть.
on the surface because gravity is weighing you down and buoyancy is pushing the different parts up, but you're also not carrying any propulsion into the wall.
Здесь важно задействовать наши силы, потому что какую-то часть тела гравитация опускает, какую-то часть плавучесть поднимает и так далее. Это нужно контролировать.
Swimmers have to contend with three different drag forces. One is wave drag, another is
Нужно
front
рассматривать
drag,
три
and the other
различных силы
is
трения,
skin
которые
surface drag.
делают.
Skin surface drags are not that important. They're important, but they're not the
the big drag force. We can't, we could create wave drags, which are hugely destructive in terms of our forward motion. But the drag force that is constantly out there, even in still times, the drag force that's constantly out there is form drag. Form drag basically is
Сопротивление постоянное, постоянное сопротивление формы, то есть как насколько мы обтекаем.
Water travels to get out of your way. So water has to go somewhere. It has to go around your form. If your form is good, water has to travel shorter distances. If your form is poor,
Если
water has
ваша
to
форма
travel
в хорошем состоянии, то вода будет мимо вас обтекать короткие, более короткие дистанции, создавать меньшее сопротивление.
Swimming forward in this direction, water doesn't have to go very far to get out of the way. If I'm swimming forward with this posture, water has got to go a long way to get out of the way.
Пытается показать на палочке, если так плыть, то вода будет намного дольше обтекать нас.
How am I going to keep my velocity? If I choose for water how to get out of my way, I might be choosing incorrectly. So let's take a person whose chest is 10 inches thick. I have to figure a way so water can travel the shortest possible distance or distances to get around me. Yeah. If I put the water in this position, right along there, I'm choosing for water to get around, or water here. I'm choosing for water to go all the way around there. And this is a 10-inch person. So I might not, that water might be traveling 7 inches to get around, 8 inches, 9 inches, depending upon where I am relative to the surface. So that's making you're choosing a long travel path. Well, if form drag is a function of the distance traveled squared, all right, then you square the distance that water has to travel. So if I say, okay, for me, I'm going in for me, and I'm making water travel 10 inches to get around me. The form drag calculation, I have to square that 10 inches. That's a factor of 1/1. You take the same person, and you put that person slightly underwater so that the water is running over their back.
Если возьмете такого же человека, поместите чуть глубже под водой, чтобы вода протекала над головой.
And there's an inch or two of water over their back. Water still has to get around that person.
Вода все равно еще должна обходить.
But how far does water have to travel when you're underwater? And now water chooses, and it always will choose, the shortest possible distance. So the shortest possible distance in this direction is 10 inches off, or excuse me, 5 inches off of a 10-inch a chest. And the same is true here, 5 inches. So water's out of your way by only traveling 5 inches in each direction. Well, square 5 inches twice. 5 5s are 25. 5 5s are 25. Add those up to 50. So all of a sudden, you're cutting in half the frontal resistance in form drag calculations by just letting water run over two of your body surfaces. We call that double cutting. Letting the water cut its way around you on more than one surface. Double cutting. Water goes over your back, dealing with form drag.
Сила сопротивления увеличится в 4 раза, в зависимости от площади. То если мы располагаемся равномерно половину над поверхностью воды тела, половину под поверхностью воды, то уменьшаем площадь нашего тела на 5 инчей, допустим, и тогда если 5 умножить на 5, 25 сверху, 25 снизу, коэффициент сумма равняется, а если бы мы были по-другому глубже расположены, то мы в 2 раза больше имели бы сопротивление.
This is a slide that will give you a better visual feeling, an image of what we just talked
Так как было, допустим, на слайде, как мы расположились неправильно.
We have a water
В первой части мы находимся правильно, во второй части мы
This is
неправильно.
the situation where you're allowing the water to choose how you get around you. Okay, so you are underwater here, 1 to 2 inches. It'll vary a little bit from person to person, but not much more than that. You don't need much more than that. In other words, this is not a beginning of a rotation. This is an approach.
Имейте в виду, что это не начало вращения, это наше
We're still
приближение к
running
стене.
toward the wall, we're carrying a lot of velocity. And another important issue here is that the axis that goes through the shoulders is now below the axis hip to hip. The hip to hip axis has been released
что ось, которая идет через плечо, находится на другом уровне оси, которая идет от бедра.
So that axis is at this height, and this axis is at that height. When we start the rotation here, the really, really important thing is that these two pieces have to pass each other in the night. This one going toward the wall, this one going back toward the other wall. If they're in the same general height area, then this one has to go around this one. And that means you have to go down. That's what kids are used to with broken lines going into the wall. They have to take this axis, the shoulder axis, down to get, and that's why they do that, to get rid of this, to get underneath this axis. So here we have the head lead in, and you can see the depressed state, allowing water to run on both sides.
Алина, что там?
Господи, тут представитель Олимпийского